This is a quick overview of your midterm exam. It's very similar to the one that you did as a practice exam, but I want to make sure that you have had an overview with the teacher like you would get if this was a face-to-face class. So the first question is naming the notes on the keyboard. Include the octave number, so like C1, C2, C3, C4, or whichever ones they were. This is middle C right here as a reference, and you should know what octave number that is. So then you name the different notes with their letter name and their octave number. For number 1, you give 2 different possible names because this could be a sharp or a flat note easily. Here on this one, you will draw the treble clef here and draw the bass clef there, and then you will notate the notes on the treble clef there, 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 and there. Notice in this one, it also incorporates octave numbers, B flat 4, right? C sharp 3, the D flat above C4. So it is also making you responsible for octave numbers sometimes. When it says F sharp and a different F sharp, they just have to be 2 different F sharps on the bass clef right here. Notating scales, just make sure that your accidentals for your scales are to the left on the same line or space of the notes that they affect. Okay. Just naming the relative major and minor scales or keys. So if I give you a minor one, you give me the relative major. If I give you a major one, you give me the relative minor. Just write it in there. You don't have to describe it. Just tell me the start of it. Triads and 7-chord theory. To change a major triad into a diminished triad, you would do what? Tell me. Just write it right there. And then fill in the blanks on these other ones. Diminished 7th chord has what kind of triad and what kind of 7th, etc. Just like we did. Minor 7th is how many half steps down from the root of the chord. All right. Here are 5 chords. They're 7th chords. They're major 7ths, minor 7ths, dominant 7ths, half diminished 7ths, or diminished 7ths. You tell me what the root is and the quality of the chord. Here is a table for minor key chord qualities on different scale degrees. This is actually a carbon copy of the one you did in the test. Okay. However, there's also a table for major key chord qualities. What are the 7th chords? What are the triads? And I'm using mixed up names of scale degrees, so you have to interpret those too. If you're unsure about these, you could always do it in the key of C and see what you get for each scale degree. Analysis. It says identify the key right there. And then identify and write the chord names. So it's the opposite order from what the other test was. You're going to write the chord name. If I thought that this first chord right here was a G sharp half diminished 7th, and it is not, so don't do that. But if I thought it was that, I would put G sharp half diminished 7th there. This line is longer because it is the entirety of both of these beats right here that you can look at. This is only one beat right here. This is only a single beat right there. This one here is 2 beats that you consider all the notes in. This one you consider all the notes of the entire measure. And so you write the chord name, like what it would be as a chord lead sheets, symbol. And then you write the chord numbers, and these are the functions, like the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, etc. And you use Roman numerals, and you make sure that you use the correct upper lower case. If it was diminished, you put the degree sign. If it was diminished 7th, you put the degree sign in a 7. Half diminished, you'd put the degree sign slash through with a 7. That kind of stuff. Remember that when you are identifying and spelling chords, I'll give you a couple hints here. Remember that accidentals affect all the notes through the measure. So if this is sharp, these 2 are sharp. You also have to affect all the sharps in the key signatures. If you don't, you'll get wrong spellings of chords. So make sure that every time you spell a chord, you check to see if there's an accidental, like there and there. You check to see if you're here, that there's an accidental before that was affecting it. And you check to see if you are also using these key signature sharps as well. What else can I tell you? There's audio that you should play a bunch of times because it will help you confirm the key and the chord qualities, or maybe the chords themselves. I promise you this is not D major, but you have to figure out what it is because it's not D major. And that's it. Once you get done, you'll take a picture of each of these pages and upload them. And that's your overview.